What's going on, gents? Today we're going to talk about how to get pants to fit you correctly. This is a issue that I see a lot of guys deal with, and something that I've been sort of meaning to brain dump for a while. So at the end of this, you should understand how to get pants to fit you at such a deep level that you never deal with the issue again. All right, and so many guys deal with so many different things with pants, and it's such a common thing that I hear that guys can't figure out how to get pants to fit them right. Maybe they don't know what fit to get, or what length to get, or where it should be, or how tight the waist should be, or what fit to get. Maybe they got like a flat butt or something. So if you're dealing with any of those issues and you want to make sure that the pants actually fit you correctly, this training is for you. So we'll dive into it. There's a few things that you need to understand first, which is knowing some very specific measurements and knowing what you're looking at when you're looking at the size of the pant, okay? So size is what you look at when you see the tag, right? And it says like 32, 32, right? So the first thing that you're looking at is going to be the waist size, which I don't even have here. So we're going to draw a fourth little line. So waist size is right here. Let's put this up because this will make a little bit more sense. Through here, boom. So that'll be number 4, all right? So waist size is the first number. So if you're looking at like whatever, 32, right? That's going to be the waist size. Now the second number, so we'll call these 32, 32, right? So the second number is going to be the length of the pant, which is the inseam. Inseam is just the inside seam of the pant, which is number 2 right here. Okay, so it's the length from where the intersection of all those seams meet together to the bottom of the pant, okay? So if you wanted to figure out what your pant's inseam is, like let's say it's not listed, or let's say you've, tailored your pants in the past and you're trying to figure out what inseam you should be getting, it's pretty dang easy to measure. You would just need to lay your pants out and sort of measure that inside seam, right? From there to there, that is your inseam. Okay, so you know those two numbers, that's great. So you got your waist, you got your inseam. This third one right here is the rise, okay? So rise is basically defining how high the trouser is going to sit on your waist. And what this measurement is the difference between the inseam and the outseam, which is from here to here, okay? So typically you're going to see pants, and you might have seen this in the past, labeled low rise or mid rise or high rise. And what that's telling you is basically how high the pants are going to sit on your waist. Generally speaking, jeans are going to be typically more low and mid-rise, and dress trousers are typically going to be something more mid-rise or high-rise, and they're going to sit higher on your waist. Now, mistake number 1 that I see a lot of guys doing is that they actually wear pants too low on their waist, and they keep their pants all at the same place on their waist. So let's say they have like a high-rise trouser, but they're used to keeping their pants right here. Right? Well, what happens is they end up with a lot of extra fabric kind of in the groin area and a lot of extra fabric in their butt. So first things first, you got to make sure you're actually wearing the pants in the right place. So you kind of have to like hike your pants up to the point where your boys are bottoming out, for lack of a better term, right? So your waist, it's not where you should keep the pants on your waist. I get that question a lot. Where should I keep my pants? The pants will tell you. So like they're meant to be high or low rise depending on how the manufacturer wants them. So what you want is to pull up your pants all the way to where, again, groin's right there. Now, the second thing that you need to be looking at is making sure, and you'll know if your pants are in the right place because the pockets of the pants should be on the butt, right? So you're typically going to want the pockets just like right there on the lower part of your butt, and that's going to give you a good idea of like whether or not you're wearing them in the right place. If you don't do this, if you sag your pants, you run into a little bit of an issue. A lot of guys complain that they have a little bit of pancake butt, right? And so this happens because you're wearing the pants too low on your waist. The pants are meant to be up here. And you can see what would happen here, right? So let's zoom in on this and pay attention to this left one for a sec. So let's say he pulls up his pants. You can see his butt curves, like starts right there, right? So what happens is the manufacturer leaves some room in the pant to accommodate your butt. All right. And so when you pull it up, you start to get the shape to it because all this extra fabric is then being filled out by your butt. So we move this up here, and then all of a sudden, this makes more sense. So part of the reason that I see a lot of guys have this issue is because they're not wearing their pants in the right place. So try to hike those boys up, get them in the right place. Your pockets should be right on the butt, very much like this. You can see that it starts here. We have all that extra shape going on this side. Imagine if he took this and he wore them down here. all this extra fabric that's right here, that's kind of hanging out and letting the butt fill into it, that would all end up down here. And that would lead to a very pancake-looking butt. Wouldn't you agree? So that's what we're trying to avoid. Now, so all right, so you know these 3 measurements, that's great. Now, you're probably saying, okay, this is awesome, but like, what about fit, right? So we have size and then we have fit. So fit is going to dictate how wide the pant is, what the shape of the leg is going to do. So we can have pants that are 32 that fit really baggy or fit really slim. And so we'll talk a little bit about that. And basically, just as a way to make this easy for you, think about fit as how wide the leg is going to fit all the way through. Now, just using this little size chart here, you can sort of understand this. Now, a lot of brands will have this, but this is just a sort of general process. So tailored or skinny fit is going to be the slimmest fit. All right, and what that's going to do, it's going to be narrow all the way through the leg as you move down. All right, so this is for guys that are generally have smaller legs, right? A little bit skinnier, a little bit slimmer. The next one is going to be slim taper, right? So slim taper is going to be a slimmer fit, which basically is narrow, but not as narrow as a skinny fit. And then it's going to sort of taper narrow as you move down towards the bottom of the leg, right? Slim is slim, but all the way through the leg without as much of a taper. So this is typically pretty standard. The majority of guys in America can fit into a slim fit just fine, all right? Then we get into athletic. Athletic is going to give you a little bit more room in the seat and the thighs. Typically, think about a guy that like works out a lot, right? Does a lot of leg presses, things like that. Usually bigger butt, bigger thighs, and then it tapers down towards the bottom. So this guy needs a little bit more room here in order to get his quads and his butt to fit in pants, but then it's going to taper towards the bottom. So if you're that guy, you're looking for an athletic fit. And then you have straight fit, which is going to be straight all the way through the leg, right? And so then after this, you would have things like relaxed fit or loose fit, things like that, that would be very, very baggy, which almost nobody would actually fit super well in, or at least not conform to the shape of their leg. So that's kind of how this works. So first things first, you need to understand your waist size, and you need to understand the inseam, and then you're going to choose a fit. So now you might be thinking, okay, cool. Well, like, how do I tell if a pant actually fits? Like, what are some of the metrics that you should be looking for? So first, we have to determine what length the pant should be, right? What inseam you should be looking at. And that will be dictated. Let me find this photo here. What we use to describe sort of the length of pants is known as break. Break is basically how much fabric is left at the end of the pant, how much fabric folds or breaks over the shoe, right? And so if you look at this here, you'll see these different measurements. So full break is one full fold of fabric, or one full break, right, over the shoe. You can see that right there. Then half break, we're starting to less, a little bit of a half fold of fabric, quarter break, and then no break, okay? Now, break, when we're looking at this, a lot of this will be dictated by your height, okay? If you're trying to look taller, most of the time you want to go for something no break or quarter break. If you're already a fairly tall guy, we want to be doing something closer to half break, or adding a cuff to the trouser. Full break is typically going to look just too baggy for almost everybody, so this is sort of how this lies out. So these are just standard sort of measurements. You can go over full break if you want. You can do ankle looks that are past no break, but just in the general sense, if you go to a tailor, they understand these terms, and it's very easy for you then to describe the length of pant that you want, right? So majority of guys are going to look good somewhere between a half break and a quarter break. Somewhere in there is perfectly fine. I tend to steer guys closer to a quarter break. It just tends to look a little bit cleaner. No break if you're looking for something a little bit more modern, or if you're trying to look a little bit taller. The reason why this helps to make you look taller is because it looks like you're filling out the entirety of the item. So imagine with full break, if you have a guy that's a little bit shorter, in something here like the full break of fabric, that full fold of fabric. It kind of looks like his leg can't quite fill out the entirety of the pant, right? It kind of looks like he's swimming in the item, like he's wearing his dad's clothing. Extend this thinking to shirts. If I was walking around like this, you'd be like, man, that shirt doesn't really fit him very well. Same thing here, right? Same idea. So For some reason, we kind of forget that with pants. So if you're taller, quarter break to no break, somewhere in that range is perfect. If you are taller and you're trying to sort of make yourself look more proportionate, half break or adding a cuff to the pant can sometimes help to break up the appearance of the leg so you don't look like there's this long sort of beanpole. All right, so that's really where you should be. Now you can use this to sort of understand where you should be on your inseam, right? So if you can sort of guesstimate this out. Like, let's say you're at a full break, right? Let's say you have right now, you put on a pair of pants and you're here and you want to be here. If this is a 32-inch inseam, you might want to move to a 30. And if this is the look that you want, the easiest thing that you can do is just take your pants to a tailor and be like, hey, tailor, I want a quarter break, or hey, tailor, I want no break, whatever it is that you want, and they will hem up your pants. Hemming pants is a very, very affordable thing to do. It's usually somewhere between $10 and at the most $20, and it's something that you can get done like that. You could probably learn how to do it yourself if you really wanted to, but I would advise you take it to just your local tailor. This is a very easy thing to do. So you got to nail your inseam, and once you know that, you're good. So we start with understanding break, waist size, in order to understand what waist size you should have. Typically, the metric for this is you want to be able to walk around without needing a belt. So if you can move around freely and you can walk from here to there without actually needing a belt, you're good. Your waist size probably fits. I usually use the point where if I can fit 2 fingers in the waistband right at my hip, that's good, right? If I can fit 3 or more, that's bad. So typically, we want to make sure that we actually have a tight enough waist, because we want to start there and make sure that that's accurate, because that can lead to a lot of other problems down through the leg, right? For example, if you have a waist that's too big through here, and let's say you're cinching it with a belt, right? So let's say you have pants that are 2 sizes too big and you cinch it in with a belt. Well, there's still a lot of fabric hanging out through here, right? Let's use a different photo, because all these lines are annoying me. All right, so like, let's say you have a pair of pants and you get the waist too big, right? Well, remember that it's not just the waist that's bigger. It's now the entirety of the pant, right? So like the entire pant is bigger. And so all of that extra fabric has to go somewhere. And so typically it's going to pool. It's going to pool right through here and right by your butt. And it's going to give you something kind of like what I like to call grandpa groin, where it's sort of just sagging and weird. So anyway, you want to make sure you get the right waist size first. So make sure you do. You should be able to walk around without needing a belt. And then also, too, one more thing about the waist size is that can lead to the appearance of a flatter butt as well. If you think about, let's look on the right side here. If we think about this, let's do our little exercise. So the waist is here. Let's say we expand it to here, right? Now what happens, instead of this following this shape, it's following a shape that's all the way out here. So now it doesn't sit as tightly on the butt, and it's going to contribute to a lot of extra fabric. So waist size dictates a lot. So make sure you get that right. So we have the metric for that. We have the metric for length. Now really what we have to talk about is the fit. So you have to understand like how to get pants that actually fit or have the right width for your leg. And so the right width for your pants and just fit in general, like a really good metric for that is, this is going to sound simple, but not too tight, not too loose. You want a pair of pants that conforms to the shape of your leg, because this will give you normal, attractive human proportions, right? So barring following trends of being, overly skinny, or right now, obviously everything is oversized and loose, like barring that, if you just want a good pair of pants, what you're going to look for is a leg that sort of conforms to the shape of your leg. Again, this will make you look like a normal human being, which is sort of what we want, right? We want clothes that make us look the same or ideally better than we actually are. And so what I see a lot of the time is guys that get pants that are too tight. So 5 years ago, 6 years ago, right, like the whole rage was like skinny jeans and super tight stuff. And even back then I'm telling guys like, hey, dude, you're going too freaking tight with your pants. An example of that would be something like this, right? So if you look, you can see the outline of his pockets. You can see like it's squeezing the leg all the way through. You can see right here is really where I want you to pay attention. Right here, do you see all these lines right here? These are what we call stress lines or tension lines. And they're basically, it's pulling at the seams of this pant, right? And so that's something that's too tight. We could see that with a shirt, right? Like imagine if I had this all the way buttoned up, this shirt, and I was like pulling like this. You're like, you can kind of see in this, right? There's lines that start to form here as I pull this away, right? There's lines, there's stress lines, tension lines. So with pants, it's the same thing. You're going to get those lines of tension, meaning that the pant is too tight for your leg. And so that's something that we want to avoid. We want to conform to the shape of the leg without squeezing. So typically what I tell guys is you should be able to grab a pinch of fabric, but not a handful, and it shouldn't be squeezing. So pinch of fabric, not a handful, just a little pinch all the way through. And if you look here, you can see that this is actually exactly what we could do here. It's not squeezing anywhere, right? But we can grab a little pinch of fabric all the way through the leg, right? But it is conforming to the leg, right? That's a terrible line, but you get the idea. You want pants that follow the normal shape of your leg. And so your thigh is a little wider, and then it narrows down to your knee, and then gets the slimmest at the bottom. And so just tapers downwards, just like that. All right? And so that's the fit that you're looking for. Now, there is no right fit of pants for you. So I can't prescribe and say, hey, you should be going to get skinny fit, or you should be going to get regular fit. It's going to dictate on how big you are and your legs are, right? Because for me, I have much bigger like thighs and butt than most guys. And so, most guys would say, oh, you're, nice and modern. You should go for a slim fit. I can't even look at a slim fit pant without bursting out of it, right? So the fit is not dictated by the name of the fit. And this is the most important thing you have to understand about fit, is that the name of the fit does not correlate to how the item will fit on you. And I'm going to repeat that because it's very important. The name of the fit does not dictate how the item will fit on you, okay? So you can have something that is a loose fit, right? But if you have massive legs, it's not so loose on you, is it? So you have to think about that. And so this requires you trying on some different fits of pants in order for you to be able to sort of say, oh, I am mostly this fit. Like most of the time, I'm an athletic fit. I just know that, right? And so I can go out and most brands, I will start with an athletic fit and then kind of go from there. So you should be doing the same thing. Now, as a starting point, most guys will start at a slim fit. Okay, so start there, and then you can say, okay, I'm going to move up or down. Maybe a slim fit's just a little bit too slim, then you can move up in a fit, or maybe it's just a little bit too baggy, and then you can move down into something that's a little bit slimmer, like an extra slim or skinny fit. Now, the good news is that most pant manufacturers have tons of different fits, which is good news because it means that you can slide up or down the scale depending on how big your legs are. So first, you need to know your waist size. Get that right. Second, you need to know your inseam size. You want to get the length right just to get you to the right amount of break. And then third, you need to understand what fit you are the majority of the time, okay? So whether you're a slim fit, athletic fit, whatever it is, okay? And just make sure that you know where you stand on that. And again, sometimes that requires trying some stuff on. But if you just pop into a store and you're looking for a pair of pants, the store associate can obviously help you. If you're like, hey, these fit a little bit too tight, do you have something that's just a little bit looser? And they can move you into the next fit either way, all right? And then pro tip too as well, most stores will tailor your pants for you. If you're shopping at a department store or a store that specializes in pants or jeans, some of my favorite pairs of jeans that I'm getting clients, right, are like from AG or Page, stuff like that, Rag & Bone. They're going to tailor the pants there for you. And typically they do it for free as well, which is really cool. So you can use them to get the appropriate length or get the appropriate width too, if it's not quite right. All right, cool. Well, hopefully that makes sense and gives you a good look at how you can get pants to fit, some of the common issues that you might be dealing with. I think that's about all you need to know in terms of getting pants to fit. So go try some stuff on, try to nail your sizes, get your waist to fit right, get your length to fit correctly, and then find the right fit. Do any necessary tailoring, and you will be rocking pants that fit, and you'll know how to do it for the rest of your life. Hope that's helpful. Talk to you soon.